doctor's expecting you. You can come right in.
You're gonna follow my instructions in this case to a T, whether you like it or not, Doctor. I don't want you to make yourself accessible in any way. No meetings, however innocent. No little phone conversations. Absolutely no contact. I rushed over here as soon as I could to impress upon you the importance of staying away from him.
Sam!
I know you, Carrie. You'll give in before you even get into court.
Sam, will you hold it? I'm sorry, Mrs. Nelson. Yes. Yes, of course. I want to see him on Friday. Mm-hmm. Yes, continue the medication according to my instructions until then. Fine. Goodbye, Mrs. Nelson. Sam, what on earth are you talking about?
Neil Brackett's back in San Francisco, Carrie.
Neil?
I thought you should know, Carrie.
Put her on. Yes, Mrs. Steinberg. I see. Well, high temperatures are not necessarily serious in small children, Mrs. Steinberg. Of course. Yes, I'll stop by as soon as possible. Fine. Bye, Mrs. Steinberg. Why, Sam? Why did he come back?
He came back to stand trial, but that's unimportant. The important thing is you're to stay away from him.
As far as Neil is concerned, I'm cured.
Good morning, Doctor.
Goodbye, Sam. Yes? Neil.
Well, Mr. Brackett, what can I do for you?
Well, I wanted to meet you, Mr. Benedict, and talk to you about the lawsuit Wednesday.
Why would you want to do a thing like that?
Why?
Yes, Jim Bradley represents you, doesn't he?
Well, yes.
Does Jim know you're talking to me?
No.
If I know Jim, and I think I do, he'd tell you to shut up.
I'm afraid you don't understand, Mr. Benedict. You see, I've been out of town several months. I just got back. I wanted you to know how badly I felt about it.
I have no intention of discussing how badly you feel, and I have no intention of discussing the merits of the case without your lawyer being present, if that's what you had in mind.
Well, I was hoping we could settle it.
$25,000 in damages to my client would settle it just like that. If you want to have Jim Bradley call me, we'll see what we can work out together. That's what my client lost, and that's what I intend recovering in a judgment against you.
You're making this very difficult, Mr.
I think I'm making it rather simple. Oh, Joe.
Sam?
Yeah, I talked to that brother-in-law of yours last night. He's going to make a good lawyer. I talked to him for 2 hours. Here's a letter addressed to the dean of the law school.
Thanks, Sam.
You're welcome.
Wait till he hears this.
Mr. Benedict.
I'll see you in court Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock.
Listen, I'm not afraid to go into court. I just wanted you to know how badly I felt about Carrie losing the money in this deal. Now, I didn't cheat her, Mr. Benedict. I happen to be in love with her. I'm sorry about that.
Guys like you always feel sorry too late. Good morning, Mr. Stark.
How are you, Counselor?
Fine. How are you?
How could I be?
Hi, fellas. On your feet, Mr. Stark.
Bring in the jury, please.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, now listen to your verdict. The people of the state of California versus Frederick William Stark, charged with 3 counts of issuing bad checks in violation of Section 476 and 476A of the Penal Code. We, the jury, find the said defendant, Frederick William Stark, guilty as charged on all counts. Signed, David Gilman, foreman. Is that your verdict, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, it is. Mr. Benedict, do you desire to poll the jury?
No, Your Honor.
Some lawyer.
Keep your pants on, Mr. Stark.
The jury is dismissed. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The defendant will remain at liberty on the bond heretofore filed and is ordered to report to the probation officer and to return to this court 2 weeks from today at 10 o'clock in the morning for further hearing. This court stands adjourned.
Hey, don't we file an appeal or something?
Shake hands with Mr. Tabor.
Hello. I'll get him right over there now.
What are you talking?
Come on. I'll see you later, Sam.
Right.
Hey, what's he talking about?
Go on.
Where am I going? Who's he?
He's the fellow who's going to try to get you out of all this. Go on. Listen, Mr. Stark, that jury just convicted you. You're staring a prison term right in the face. Go on now, will you? Go on.
Now, you're going to have to talk to the probation officer.
Well, you're a lawyer. Why don't you talk to him?
Because I'm not requesting probation, Mr. Stark. You are.
I'm not really guilty. I just got tired lugging those sample cases around 14 hours a day, and I went out and got good and drunk.
You also went out and wrote $1,148.97 worth of bad checks in the process, Mr. Stark. Now, what you say to the deputy in the probation office has a lot to do with what happens to you. Get the chip off your shoulder, and whatever you say when you talk to him, don't say, I'm not really guilty.
Municipal courts. Going
Hey,
up.
what is this? Whose side you on, anyway?
I'm on your side, Mr. Stark.
Oh, come in, Sam. Come in. You know Jim Brad.
Yes, of course.
Hi, Sam. I find I have to rearrange my calendar. I'm hearing an unfair competition matter, and since there are a number of out-of-town witnesses involved, it's going to take an additional 8 or 10 days. Now, I'd like to put the Morton bracket matter over until the 18th. Does this present any problems for either of you? No, I'm clear.
No, fine with me.
I'd like to go over this matter with you for a moment. Dr. Morton signed a contract with this man Brackett and agreed to give Brackett enough money to make a bid on a housing project. She gave him a certain amount of time to raise the rest of the money. Purchasing contract was in her name, and she was to share pro rata in the profits. Now, on August the 15th, she put up a $25,000 earnest bond, and Brackett was to put up a $75,000 completion bond by September the 1st. Now, on September the 2nd, the land company notified Dr. Morton that her bond had been forfeited. On that same date, September the 2nd, an envelope postmarked August 30th arrived containing Brackett's check. In short, Brackett's check to the land company did not reach Dr. Morton until 1 day after the contractual deadline. The area of dispute seems to be the question of the date the check was mailed. I hope you will confine your arguments to this specific issue.
All right with me?
Me too. Fine. Now, are you going to want a jury?
I'll waive a jury.
I'll waive. Well, fine. You men are easy to get along with today. Now, if we go in on the 18th, we should be finished in 1 day or 2 at the most.
Ready, Your Honor.
Yes, I'll be right there. Thank you for your time, gentlemen. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
You know and I know Dr. Morton was victimized by post office logistics. The mail came late. My client is certainly not responsible for the United States mail. Sam, why don't you file for damages against the Postal Service?
Carrie Morgan's everything she'd been working for all these years to raise that $25,000 bond. And every cent went down the drain.
Level with me, Sam. Is this a breach of contract or a breach of promise suit?
Oh, now what kind of a question is that?
Frankly, Sam, I don't think the case is ever going to trial.
Unless your client comes up with $25,000, it will.
Oh, I don't think that'll be necessary. I just had a phone call from Brackett. He'd spoken with Dr. Morton. She's agreed to meet with him and discuss their, differences.
What?
All I know is what my client tells me, Sam. I suggest you talk with yours.
You can be sure I will, Counselor. You can be absolutely sure. talk to you.
I'm awfully busy, Sam. There are a couple of patients I've just got to see.
Carrie.
All right, Sam. In here. Coffee?
No, thank you. You talked to him.
Yes.
He called you, you called him. Which?
You know I wouldn't call him.
Do I? This morning you said you wouldn't accept any calls from him.
I couldn't help it, Sam. I picked up the phone, and there he was.
And you told him you'd talk to him and try to iron things out together, right?
Oh, Sam, be reasonable.
Reasonable? Is it reasonable for a lawyer to find out the status of his case from the opposing counsel? Is it reasonable for a lawyer to want to know what his client is doing behind his back? I've known you for a long while, Carrie. I admire you. As a doctor and as a woman, I want to help you, but I can't under these circumstances.
Oh, Sam, I do want your help. Believe me. But when I heard Neil's voice on the phone...
What did he say?
That he loves me. That he wants to marry me.
And you bought it?
Bought it? Why shouldn't I buy it? Am I so unattractive that you think no man can look at me? What am I? Some kind of a cold, dedicated career woman in white that no man will touch? Sam, I want more out of life.
What? To be cheated by a man you trusted? To be used by a guy who was out for a fast buck? Why don't you face the facts?
What facts? Go ahead, Sam. Say it. There is very little you can say to me that I haven't already said to myself.
I want you to see Neil Brackett for what he really is. An unscrupulous, young promoter. When you hit, you really hit hard, don't you, Sam? I have to.
I know he's young, Sam. And I know that I'm acting like a schoolgirl on her first date. But I can't help myself, Sam. I am a schoolgirl, and this is my first date. There was never anyone before this character. And I doubt that there ever will be after.
If you want me to withdraw the suit, just say the word. I think he swindled you. I think I can prove it in court. The decision is yours. I want an answer.
Neil?
Welcome home, honey.
How did you get in?
Souvenirs of 1,000 yesterdays.
I thought we agreed to meet
At the top of the mark. We'll go there later after the crowd. Come and say hello first.
There's one thing I'll say for you, Neil. You always were the image of confidence. Supreme confidence. Dr. Morton, any messages? All right. Thank you. Yes, I'm home.
Good for what ails you.
What ails me, that won't cure.
Why do you torture yourself?
I'm a masochist, haven't you heard? I like pain. It eases my guilty conscience.
You guilty? You're the most innocent girl I ever met.
That's quite a compliment, Neil.
Carrie, listen to me. I didn't cheat you on this deal, I swear it.
I'm very glad to hear that, Neil. Then just give me back my $25,000 and we'll part friends.
Honey, I can't. Every cent I have is invested up to here. But if this deal comes through for us, believe me, we'll be in clover, both of us.
Oh, I'm in again. In again, out again, Finnegan.
Carrie, you were never out with me. From the beginning, I told you you could share in anything I made. This was more than a partnership between us.
I know. What's yours is yours, and what's mine is yours.
No, Carrie, cut it out. It's me. I'm the guy that asked you to marry him, remember?
That's past tense, isn't it, Neil?
No, nothing's ever stopped with me. You know that.
Oh, tell me the truth, Neil.
Carrie, I love you. Well, did I ever care about money? You told me yourself I was the worst money manager you ever met. As a matter of fact, I'm so broke, you'd probably have to pick up the dinner check.
Really?
Oh, no, not really. I'm getting a loan tomorrow, as a matter of fact, on some land I picked up in Marin County. Oh, quite a steal. It's too bad our deal turned out so badly. I'd let you in on it. Double your money in 60 days.
Double my money?
I wouldn't let you in on it, risk your money on it. The bank's gonna finance the whole thing anyway.
But you would like me to help you out?
No, forget I even mentioned it.
It would help matters if I withdrew the lawsuit, wouldn't it, Neil?
I suppose. We'll talk about that later over dinner, huh?
Neil, would you mind terribly if we didn't go have dinner tonight?
Well, why?
Oh, I've had a terrible day. I've been up since dawn, and I'm exhausted.
Look, you didn't think I was serious. I mean, you don't think I'd be foolish.
I didn't think anything, Neil. I'm just tired, and my feet hurt, and I want to get some rest. And I don't want to talk about it anymore tonight. I would just like to be alone.
Okay. So I struck out. It's not the first time. It won't be the last. Gary. This thing between us, no lawyer nor any court is ever going to change that. True?
False. Very, very false.
Okay. You get yourself some sleep. Tomorrow morning, bright and early, we'll go down to Fisherman's Wharf and...
No.
All right, I'll phone you. Don't you worry about a thing. We're gonna make it.
Sam? It's Carrie. Go ahead with it, Sam. Take him for every nickel he's got.
Can I help you?
Mr. Brackett around?
No, Mr. Brackett won't be back today. Do you have an appointment?
No, I just took a chance.
I'm sorry.
Maybe you could help me. I've lost a check of Mr. Brackett's, and I need to notify the bank about the number.
Well, I don't know. Do you have the date?
September 1st, to the best of my recollection.
This year or last year?
Last year, it was a post-dated check.
see, August, July, September.
I've got the date.
What's your name?
Sam Benedict. What's yours?
Gloria Gorman.
Huh.
Let's see. No, there's no check here to a Mr. Sam Benedict on September 1.
Oh, there has to be.
Well, there isn't. You can see for yourself.
May I?
Sure.
Ah, let's see. Well, you're right and I'm wrong. Must have been another account. Say, do you have a postage meter around here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm terribly sorry to have bothered you.
Well, that's all right, Mr. Benedict.
No, it isn't. Why don't you get your hat and I'll buy you a drink?
I couldn't do that.
Why not?
Oh, why not? 1 minute.
Check. Can I use your phone?
Help yourself.
Hello, Trudy. We handled a divorce action last year for a man named Ernie Miller. Can you find him for me? Right. Oh. I'll handle that tomorrow. Yeah. Listen. What? Oh, that brief is due at DCA Tuesday. You better get it to the printers before they close. Right. Anything else? Oh. Hank around? I'll wait.
Did you get your call?
Waiting. Gloria?
Gloria Gorman.
Gorman?
Gorman.
Hello, Hank. This is me. Hank, would you prepare a subpoena, Deuces Takem, and serve it on Neil Brackett? That's right.
Did you say your name was Sam Benedict?
Yes. Yes, all his books.
Why, you're the lawyer that's suing Mr. Brackett.
That's right. And would you also prepare another subpoena and serve it on Miss Gloria Gorman? Gorman.
You are a rat.
Is your wife still in Chicago, Mr. Stark?
Wife, child, and dog.
What's the phone number there?
Quaker 14490.
Why? Trudy, get me Mrs. Frederick Stark on the phone. Quaker 14490, Chicago.
What do you want to talk to her about?
Raising some money. One of the conditions of probation, if we get it, would be restitution.
Ha! My wife hasn't talked to me for 6 months.
You're still married to her, aren't you?
I suppose so.
Well, don't you know?
Yeah, I'm still married to her. But I'll tell you something, as wives go, mine would like to see me salted away for about 50 years.
Have a smoke, Mr. Stark. Okay. Hello? Yes, Mr. Tabor, that's right, Mrs. Stark. I'm a lawyer. I represent your husband. No. It's not a divorce action. I'm afraid he's in trouble for writing bad checks. Wait a minute, Mrs. Stark, please. Just a minute. He's been tried and convicted. We're asking for a probation for him. Mrs. Stark, please. It's going to take some money, Mrs. Stark. Yes, he's right here with me now. Uh-huh. Yeah, yes.
Hello, honey. No, it wasn't a woman.
Bye, Mr. Brackett.
Listen, what you did at my office isn't going to sit too well with the Bar Association, Mr. Benedict.
Bar association or no bar association, what you've done to my client doesn't sit too well with me, Mr. Brackett.
I came by here to warn you, Benedict. You've gone as far as you're going.
No, I haven't, and don't you warn me about anything. All right, let's see this one. Put this down, will you? Suggest you arrange convenient meeting place where we can discuss...
Listen to me.
Shut up. Where we can discuss this matter with both clients. Hoping to hear from you, blah, blah, blah. Sam Benedict.
Mr. Benedict.
I thought I told you not to speak to me without your lawyer being
I don't
present.
care what
What's
you
that
told
thing
me.
over there?
That's the contract Meade sent over.
Oh,
Will you just listen for a minute?
Shut up, will you? Let's see. This one, that's a no. This one is a no. These are think it overs. This is yes. This is yes. Yes. All right, I'll take care of the rest of them. Go on, get out of here. Powder your nose. Go on, will you? Come on, get out of here. All right, now, you want to talk dirty or something? Go right ahead. There's nobody here but us chickens.
All right. Well, you're going to hear from me on this, Benedict.
All I want to hear from you is $25,000 in damages to my client.
Well, maybe the fact that Carrie and I were planning to get married gave you some strange notion that I'd exceed in this matter. But let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something. I don't believe you ever had any intention of marrying Dr. Carrie Morton. I do believe you intended to use whatever financial resources she had for your own profit. I believe I know how you did it, and I believe I can prove it in court. Now, I don't think you're going to get anywhere with Carrie, and you're not going to get anywhere with me. So get out of here before I really get mad.
Maybe I won't get anywhere with you, Benedict, but I wouldn't count too much on Carrie if I were you.
Mr. Benedict's expecting you, Dr. Morton.
Thank you.
Hello, Carrie. Good to see you. Thank you for coming by.
Oh, that's all right, Sam.
Trudy, have you... Thank you. Now, is this the envelope that Brackett's check was mailed to you in?
Yes, that's it.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure, Sam. Look at the date on it.
I've been looking at it. I think I know how he cheated you. Come on. Trudy, come on and bring envelopes, huh?
How many?
Oh, 20, 30, and a rubber band. Dr. Morton, this is Mr. Miller.
How do you do, Mr. Miller?
Sit down, Carrie. Mr. Miller has been a deputy supervisor in the cancellation department of our post office for a number of years. I thought he could help give us a foundation for our case. Thank you. Now, Ernie, I've been handling a contractual matter for Dr. Morton. Much of the dispute revolves around when a letter was mailed and when it was delivered. I want to be sure that you know the area that we're working in.
Of course, I'll be glad to help, Mr. Benedict.
Now, this is a piece of metered mail. I'll be asking you mostly about the metering system.
I see. And what kind of information did you want?
Well, all you've got, the works.
Well, the postal metering machines, thank you, are leased to companies that have a lot of heavy mailing. Thank you. They're registered with the postal department. The lessee buys whatever postage he wants from the post office. They set the machine for him and seal it. When it runs out, he buys more postage, has his meter reset and resealed.
Tell me, if I had one of these machines around here, could I date a letter today and mail it 3 days from now?
You could do that. But if a single piece of metered mail showed up at the post office with the wrong date on it, it would be re-canceled in the regular canceling machine.
Well, let's say that this letter was dated the 10th of the month. And let's say that all of these were dated the 11th. Bulk mail now. Suppose this stack were run through together. Could we miss the one in the middle, the one with the wrong date on it?
We could.
Does it ever happen?
Well, no system is perfect.
Ernie, I may ask you to come into court and testify Wednesday.
Sure. What would you want me to say?
The truth, and thanks, Ernie.
My pleasure.
Right.
Nice meeting you, Doctor.
Oh, goodbye, Mr. Miller.
Well, that's the way it happened, Carrie.
But why would he do it, Sam?
I have an answer to that. According to the state land office, Brackett went in with his own money. He bought into that development deal 2 weeks later and sold out at a profit. Your money gave him time.
Well, suppose it did happen that way.
Brackett would be wide open for criminal charges.
Criminal charges?
I can't think of anything that would make him more liable.
You mean Neil would go to prison?
Carrie, We're 24 hours away from a hearing. Don't get cold feet now.
Mr. Benedict.
Please, Trudy. We have a good chance of going into court tomorrow and proving that this guy's a thief and a crook. I don't have any reservations about that. Do you, Carrie?
Oh, no. No, Sam. Of course not.
All right.
Thank you, Sam.
What's the matter?
I don't know. How are you, Mr. Stark?
Lousy.
Join the club.
Are you quite ready, Mr. Benedict?
Ready for the plaintiff, Your Honor.
Ready for the defendant.
I apologize to Your Honor, to counsel for my tardiness. Your Honor, may I have 5 minutes to consult with my client?
Mr. Benedict, you have had 14 months to confer with your client. However, if you feel that an additional 5 minutes might serve to expedite matters, by all means, take them. A 5-minute recess.
What is it, Carrie?
I've got to talk to you, Sam.
All right, go on.
Are you withdrawing, Sam?
Of course not.
Good morning, Mr. Benedict. Carrie.
What is this, an Elks convention? Get this guy out of here.
All right, Sam.
Gonna be free for lunch later?
No, she's not going to be free for lunch or dinner or any other time or place. Now, get out of here. Come on, Carrie.
Is it against the law to talk to a former fiancé in court?
Well?
I can't go through with it, Sam.
Why?
I couldn't sleep at all last night. You can say what you want about Neil. Maybe he cheated me. Maybe he's a terrible sort of a person. Maybe he's nothing at all the man I thought he was. But prison, Sam.
Carrie, people who break laws go to prison every day. And some of them are just like Neil Brackett. Fast buck artists. Guys who spend their life cheating decent, honest, hard-working people like yourself. If you can't think of yourself, think of the next girl he swindles. And the girl after that. If you don't deserve a break, they do.
I never thought of it that way. Any other girl for Neil, I mean. Sam, do you really think he...
I bet my life on it, Carrie. If you let him off now, there'll be another girl, and another girl after that. Just as naive, just as eager. Laws weren't made just to protect you, Carrie. They were made to protect all of society.
But will he go to prison, Sam?
I can't answer that. Maybe yes, maybe no.
But suppose he didn't intend to cheat me. Suppose that he got in some kind of a bind and he just had to do what he did.
Yes or no, Carrie? Which is it to be?
Yes.
Where is she?
I don't know where she is. I told you she wouldn't come to San Francisco.
Did you tell her you might go to prison if she didn't?
Yeah. She said bye-bye and hung up.
Come on.
Mr. Stark. Mr. Stark, this is the day to consider the report of the probation officer. Now, I've read and considered this report, and frankly, Mr. Stark, I see no reason for granting you probation. Before passing judgment, I ask, is there any legal cause why judgment shall not be pronounced at this time?
Your Honor, we have no legal cause, but may I be heard on this matter of probation briefly?
Are you counsel of record, Mr. Tabor?
I'm associate counsel, Your Honor. Mr. Benedict asked me to appear on behalf of the defendant. A matter long pending in another court required Mr. Benedict's presence today.
Yes, well, make it brief, Mr. Tabor.
Your Honor, the defendant is not as irresponsible as the charges indicate. He is and has been a loving husband for 13 years, gainfully employed, during all that time providing well for his wife and 2 minor children aged 9 and 13.
As I've read Mr. Stark's personal history, Mr. Tabor, I think I'm acquainted with it.
But you're not acquainted with Mr. Stark, Your Honor. Nor am I, nor are these gentlemen. Certain facts concerning a man's life cannot be pigeonholed when we try to evaluate the motives which cause him to break the law.
Mr. Tabor, I'm not too sympathetic with bad check artists. As far as I'm concerned, there's no difference between a bad check and putting the hand in the till.
Your Honor, you urge me to be brief, and I will be. Mr. Stark arrived in a point in his life where he was unsure of his emotional, professional, and marital future. He didn't take a weapon and shoot someone. He didn't hold up a store. He didn't careen a car recklessly around the streets. He's never been in trouble with the law before. He hurt no one but himself, Your Honor.
You know and I know what the charges are and why he's here, Mr. Tabor. I've heard enough. You may sit down.
Your Honor, I've...
The probation law is not intended, nor is it the spirit of that law, that probation is necessarily the proper course of procedure for first offenders. Mr. Tabor has stated that you hurt no one but yourself. Well, I disagree. I disagree $1,148.97 worth. Now, he also stated that you did not use a deadly weapon. I disagree there, academically. You drove recklessly with a fountain pen, Mr. Stark. And Mr. Tabor also stated that you'd never been in trouble with the law. Now, I see here that you were arrested by the Los Angeles police 2 years ago. Is that right?
But the charges were dropped, Your Honor.
Sit down, Mr. Tabor. Well, Mr. Stark, you've been very silent through all this, and I'd like to know exactly what happened in Los Angeles.
Well, they picked me up there, Judge.
That's what it says.
Well, it was one of those things, Judge. I was carrying a line for a sanding machine company at the time, and, I was working Fresno and Stockton and a lot of places like that, you know, all in one day, and, I worked like a dog carrying those sample cases around. Well, I checked into a hotel in Salinas one night about 10 o'clock, and there was a wire from the district manager telling me I was fired. No reason, nothing. Well, I got mad, I guess. I put the company car in the hotel garage. I took a plane to Los Angeles, and they picked me up there for a stolen car. Well, when I told them where it was, you know, they let me go. Everything was okay.
Were you booked?
Oh, no, I was not booked, sir. No, sir.
Was there a proceeding of any kind?
Well, they kept me for a couple hours in an office, but then they let me go, sir.
Mr. Stark, do you often get so angry that you act irresponsibly with property that does not belong to you? Such as this company car you left in Salinas?
No. Well, yes. Yes, I suppose so. Look, let's be honest about it.
Oh, let's be honest by all means, Mr. Stark.
Yeah, let's be honest about it. Why not? Huh? Why not? Look, I'm just like any other guy who's overworked. Maybe more so. I'm tired, Judge. I'm tired of being away from home, away from my kids. I'm tired of hotel rooms. I'm tired of sample cases. Good morning, Mr. Somebody. I'm nobody. Can I sell you something? I'm tired of fighting with my wife over not being home. I'm tired, Judge. I'm a tired man. I'm worn out. I'm beat. And every once in a while I go out and tie one on just to forget the whole thing. All right. This time I signed some bad checks. Listen, you don't know what it's like trying to make a buck, carrying those sample cases all over the country. You don't know what it's like working on the road.
As a matter of fact, I do know what it's like, Mr. Stark. I wasn't a judge all my life. On occasion, I have a drink too many myself. The court does not see where any useful purpose would be served by putting this man in jail. Probation is granted. And it shall extend for the same amount of time, but not exceeding the maximum term of imprisonment. The defendant will report at stated intervals to the probation officer and make restitution in a manner prescribed by the probation officer. This probation is conditional, of course, upon the defendant's ability and willingness to make full restitution. Is the defendant prepared to...
That's my wife.
Make restitution?
How much did you pay for that coat?
4,800 clams.
She came this far. She'll go all the way, Mr. Stark. Yes, Your Honor, the defendant is prepared to make full restitution.
I send out an average from 30 to 35 letters a day, and I couldn't possibly remember any particular one.
Miss Gorman, do you usually mail these 30 or 35 letters a day yourself?
Yes, I always tie them up and take them to the post office.
Supposing I were to tell you, Miss Gorman, that a deputy supervisor of cancellation at our post office is prepared to testify as to the form in which the post office regularly receives bulk mail. Do you usually send your bulk mail in this standard form?
That's what I usually do, yes.
Do you have any recollection of not doing so on September the 1st?
No.
No further questions.
We have no questions, Your Honor. You may be excused.
Thank you, Your Honor. A rat.
May call your next witness, Mr. Benedict.
The defense calls Sam Benedict.
Be sworn, Mr. Benedict.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Who will be conducting the examination, Mr. Benedict?
I will be, Your Honor.
Very well. Proceed.
State your name, address, and occupation. Samuel Benedict, 333 Montgomery Street, lawyer. Mr. Benedict, do you represent the plaintiff in this case? Yes, sir, I do. Mr. Benedict, on a matter connected with this case, did you visit the business offices of Mr. Neil Brackett, the defendant? Yes, sir, I did. Mr. Benedict, while you were at the office of Mr. Brackett, did you have the opportunity of inspecting his checkbook?
The checkbook itself is the best evidence. For that reason, I object.
Do you intend to testify as to the contents of these records?
Well, yes, sir, I do. The sheriff served on Mr. Brackett a subpoena ducis tecum. The sheriff was informed by Mr. Brackett that many of his records had recently been stolen, including the said checkbook.
May continue your examination, Mr. Benedict.
Did you inspect Mr. Brackett's checkbook? Yes, I did. What did you see in the inspection of Mr. Brackett's checkbook? Searching through the checkbook, I discovered the stub of check 203, indicating that a check for $75,000 had been drawn in favor of the Kelwood Land Company on August 30th of last year.
Your Honor, this material has already been brought out by the defense. It's been our contention from the beginning that Mr. Brackett sent his check in ample time to meet his contractual commitments with Dr. Morton. It would seem Mr. Benedict's testimony is only strengthening the case for the defense.
And it would also seem that you would be ill-advised in objecting to it.
The sheriff served on Mr. Brackett a subpoena ducis tecum. The sheriff was informed by Mr. Brackett that many of his records had recently been stolen, including the said checkbook.
May continue your examination, Mr. Benedict.
Did you inspect Mr. Brackett's checkbook? Yes, I did. What did you see in the inspection of Mr. Brackett's checkbook? Searching through the checkbook, I discovered the stub of check 203, indicating that a check for $75,000 had been drawn in favor of the Kelwood Land Company on August 30th of last year.
Your Honor, this material has already been brought out by the defense. It's been our contention from the beginning that Mr. Brackett sent his check in ample time to meet his contractual commitments with Dr. Morton. It would seem Mr. Benedict's testimony is only strengthening the case for the defense.
And it would also seem that you would be ill-advised in objecting to it. You may proceed.
Mr. Benedict, did you notice anything else in that checkbook? I noticed that check stub 202, immediately preceding check 203, was drawn to a furniture company and was dated September 1st of last year. And check number 204, which followed the $75,000 check, was also dated September 1st. What did you do then, Mr. Benedict? Well, I had to assume that all three checks had been written on the same day, September 1st, and that the $75,000 check had been deliberately predated.
Object. The witness knows full well his answer is a conclusion.
Sustain. Strike the answer.
I have no further questions, but it seems strange in the sequence of numbered checks that the middle check should have a different date than the first and third.
Does the defense wish to cross-examine?
No questions.
You may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor. The plaintiff rests, Your Honor.
Approach the bench, please. Mr. Bradley, are you going to be able to offer anything to refute this testimony?
I'm not prepared, Your Honor. This is all new to me.
Well, I'm quite sure it's not new to your client, Mr. Bradley. I think you people should put your heads together and decide on a course of action.
I would like to consult with my client, Your Honor.
Well, please do.
This is a bad time to find out you didn't tell me everything, Mr. Brackett.
I don't think there's any doubt as to what Brackett did to you, is there, Carrie?
No.
Carrie, I'm sorry about this. I told my lawyer to throw in the towel.
It's over?
Well, for you it is. Gary, I suppose I cheated you on this. Funny, I never looked at it that way. I was in a spot. I needed some money bad. I thought of us together, and I knew I could pay you back. I can't explain it to you here. I want you to know one thing I never cheated you about. That's the way I feel about you.
And so we stipulate judgment for the plaintiff, Your Honor.
All right, gentlemen, you are stipulating to a judgment for the plaintiff. Mr. Benedict, you will prepare the judgment. However, from what I have seen and heard in this courtroom today, I am certifying this transcript to the district attorney's office for his further action. This court stands adjourned.
Don't say it, Sam.
Carrie,
Please don't say it.
We're gonna get married, Mr. Benedict.
Married?
Today, now.
Not in the state of California.
Well, there's no waiting period in Reno. We're gonna get you first plane out.
Carrie, do you realize...
I'm sorry, Sam, and thank you. But I'm in love, Sam, and this is the way it's got to be.
Tell me, Sam, is that love?
Yeah. Oh, it's not exactly Cinderella and Prince Charming, but it's there, all right. And it might just turn out to be the real thing. Come on, I'll buy you a drink.